Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, and it can be you versus you. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Borman. And if you are coming through, then please do let me know. Okay, glad to have you here. What a way to start the week, to start the day. I imagine some of you are watching this back, as many of you will still be in bed on the bank holiday, Monday, but we're out getting amongst it. So listen, before we get into this, and I want to specifically talk about us comparing ourselves to a younger version of ourselves and trying to make sense of it. We are opening up the 5-day Masterclass, Fire It Up Masterclass. We're back after 2 months off. Free 5 days training and coaching with me in 2 weeks. You can register your place on the link above. It's completely free. So I have come to the acceptance over the last couple of years that tough acceptance that I'm never going to be or have the energy that I once did in my early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. I've got a 100 miler I'm running in June. I did my first 100 miler 4 years ago. And boy, that was tough. Then 2 years later, in 2019, I did it again. And it was even fucking tougher. And I'm doing it this year and I'm thinking, how the fuck am I going to do this? And it's very, very difficult. But I'm also thinking with football training. I'm doing football training at the minute, doing jiu-jitsu, fighting kids that are fucking 25 or 30 and just literally want to rip my head off. Playing football with kids that are 20, 25 who are running fucking all over the place, and I'm looking after my 2 meter square. And I think sometimes what we end up doing is comparing ourselves to that old version of ourselves. Oh, I just wish I was as fit as I used to be. I wish I had the energy that I used to have. And listen, it's a very difficult thing to accept, I think, when we don't necessarily have those energy levels that we used to, when we don't have the capabilities that we used to, the recovery powers of when we got injured. And it's one of the things I hear a lot of men talking about when I talk to them. Oh, I used to be really fit. I used to run half marathons and marathons. I used to be thin and lean and fit. And what we're actually doing is comparing ourselves to that younger version of ourselves. And we're basing all of our success on the success we had when we were kids, when we were younger. Not even kids, a good 5-6 years ago. And it can have a damning effect on our own self-esteem. When we think that we're not up to a standard, we start beating ourselves up. When we think we're not up to a specific standard, more importantly, of 4, 5, 10, 15 years ago, we beat ourselves up even more. And that affects confidence, self-belief, and that can really affect our... What the fuck? Nearly went over a cone there. And that can affect our state of mind. What I want you to be able to do is actually realise your capabilities of today and start focusing on what you can achieve today and look after your tomorrow. And one of the things I really came to realise was that, you know what, I might not have the energy levels of 4 years ago to do the 100, but I still got it here. This is one area that I think that we can be stronger in than 5, 10 or 15 years ago, is what we think of our state of mind in here. I've heard many men say I feel fitter and stronger than I've ever felt in my life. And that's in here. That's not necessarily this body or the energy levels. It's what we feel in our mind. It's what we feel that we can still achieve. And part of that power is accepting that you're not as sharp as you used to be. That it is harder to keep the body fat off. that there are probably going to be people that are overtaking you. And that's managing your ego. That's managing that ego and saying, this is where I am, but this is where I'm happy. This is how I push myself. And this is how I look after my tomorrow. And that's how you become mentally stronger. It's like doing and showing up and proving to yourself that you still have some drive, some fire and some passion in you. But it doesn't have to be a comparison. It can just be about today. It can be just about tomorrow. And that way, I don't need to compare myself to the 20-year-old version of me, the 30-year-old version of me, the version of me from 4 years ago. It can allow me to be happy in the state that I'm in. Remember, this can always be stronger. Always. And when this is in the right place, everything else follows. And I just wanted to say that because if I go through that mind process and I talk to my mates about it, the more than likely you do. And I really wanted to put some perspective on that situation so you stop beating yourself up all of the time. Manage those expectations, manage your ego, and enjoy the fucking ride, guys. Enjoy it. Anyway, that's me for Monday. Enjoy your bank holiday. I will see you on Wednesday.